We are live.
Okay.
Okay, tell everyone your name.
My name is Lisa Kathleen Lasker.
And let's have a look at this picture of your daughter.
And this is my daughter, Nicole Kathleen Lasker.
Look at that beautiful face, everyone. We're going to get that picture of her and we're going to put it on the bus. How old is she there?
She's 28 in this photo.
In that photograph. All right, let's go back and talk us through what happened to your daughter.
Okay, I'm going to start by saying that I was born into a medical family. My father was a pathologist, and we were 100% pro-vaccine. And I got all my kids all the shots and everything, and come to the Gardasil vaccine, and my daughter got the first shot. I was adamant that she was going to get these shots because I had a dysplastic cervix, and I had to have part of mine removed per my father's recommendation as a pathologist, which I found out later doesn't really have to be done. You just eat dark leafy greens and it'll kill it. So we got her the first shot, the first round.
How old was she when she got the first shot?
She was 15 and she'd never had sex. It was when those campaigns came out. Be one less, right? Well, little did we know she'd be one less here walking on the earth, right? So we got the first round and seemed to be okay, and they did them every 3 months. We got the second round and she started getting really sick. And I have to mention that her behavior started changing with these shots.
In what way?
She got more and more rebellious. You know, as you go through more pain and suffering, it triggers something in the brain, a post-traumatic stress disorder. She was seeking remedy for her pain. And
Where was her pain?
everywhere. She had the POTS syndrome. She'd get up and she'd go right back down. She couldn't stand up for very long. She had chronic fatigue. She had headaches. She had muscle ache. Mostly it was in her abdomen. We spent, after the second shot, we frequented the ER enough that I held off on the third shot. I'm like, no, she's sick. I'm not doing the third shot. And they said, okay, we'll hold off. And then, like 9 months later, we went back and did the third round. Big mistake. Because that's when she went down. She could no longer attend school. She couldn't get herself up out of bed. She couldn't walk. She couldn't do anything. And she, chronic gut problems in her gut. And that's what these vaccines do. The amounts of aluminum in them. I went back and earned a master's degree around this. And I learned how to do the study, read the studies. I learned how to, I went into the CDC website. I went into the WHO website. I searched it all very deeply, and I did earn a master's behind it. And what I learned when I went in there, my jaw dropped so many times that it's not even funny. It's really not funny. The things that they do to mask it, read all these professional books that are coming out, and you guys have many of them here today, which is fabulous. Brian Hooker does a really good job to explain. They take these studies and they eliminate the subjects that are harmed, and that alters the results in the end. And that's just not fair. That's not evidence-based science at all. So after the third shot, she became pretty much bedbound and couldn't go to school, and she lost all her friends. She lost an extraordinary amount of weight. She went from 130 to about 90 pounds within a month's time. This is no joke. She was very, very harmed. And
did you at this point know it was the vaccine? Or?
You know what? I wasn't sure. I kind of got it, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I went through 2 more years of exploration in the medical field to find out what had happened. And I mentioned to doctors more than once that it could have been the shots. It could have been the shots. It could have been the shots. And not once did they ever document what I said. That's pretty huge right there. If you can't listen to a mother who knows what she saw. And I took it in front of my father, and he said, Lisa, it couldn't have been the vaccines. Now talk about indoctrinated. So it took me about 2 years to figure out that the medical field was not going to help us. And I went all holistic. And we started eating everything organic. We started doing everything to detox, and there's plenty of detox methods out there. The one thing that really stood out to me when I was on my knees praying, please help my daughter, of all things come on the TV, was an evangelistic, I think it was Tammy Faye, and you know how dramatic she was. But she said dimethylglycine. She said dimethylglycine and silica. Silica, you can get that in the Fiji water. So I got all over this and started promoting this and went out and got the dimethylglycine and put it under her tongue, and I'll be damned, it started to bring her back. And after that, we spent a lot of years. She really liked the high fructose corn syrup, unfortunately, and that stuff will kill you. It will kill you. Our bodies cannot produce the porphyrins to take it out of our body. It just doesn't work. Stay away from high fructose corn syrup. So yeah, we got 13 years with her after this, and she was actually healthier than I'd ever seen her before she passed away. But there really wasn't one day that I didn't go into her room thinking, is this going to be the day?
But why? So try and help us imagine what that looked like to you. Was she in bed, very weak? She lost weight?
You know what? She could not get up out of bed, and rarely did she. She actually had 2 kids, okay? I have 2 miracle kids. The only time I saw her in a normal physiological state was when she was pregnant. And by the grace of God, because he does that kind of stuff. That's his MO. She did give me 2 beautiful kids. One's 10 and one of them is 6. Both of them are completely unvaxxed, and they run circles around everything my kids ever did. I mean, they just run circles around everything. They're so bright, smart, vigilant, and almost psychic. I mean, seriously, the little boy, he just comes with
So
some
she had
stuff.
2 children.
Yes.
But she's getting sicker and sicker.
No, she wasn't getting sicker and sicker. She really wasn't. But after I talked to you, and you said you can do this too, I remember your words very clearly. You can do this too. I took off on another tangent, though. I'm not getting the people's truth, but I'm getting the people's truth, and it follows up my master's degree, because I started looking through all the codes and the statutes and the sessions laws and how these things could be slid in on us and made solid, like you have to do this or you can't attend school. Another thing, during the pandemic here, my granddaughter, 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old, last 2 years, unvaccinated. They have these laws that you can't go to school during a pandemic. Any kids that are unvaccinated will have to stay home. Well, they put most of the population on virtual school at home anyway. And my granddaughter didn't take to it. She didn't like it at all. She wanted to go to school. So she went to school. Unvaxxed. They tell you you can't do this. The unvaxxed will have to stay home. It's a lie. You can't go to school unless you're vaccinated. It's a lie. It's a complete lie. And matter of fact, most of the health departments have you can go and opt out just by philosophically. Now this isn't in every state, but in Missouri, I live in Missouri, not Kansas. We can do all 3. We have the philosophical, we have the medical, and the other. If you just don't want to do it. But you do have to go down and go through their program and listen to their program, which I did with the grandkids and my daughter. We went down and we listened to their spiel, and I educated the girl that was giving it. And I said, after I have to tell you what I have to tell you, you may not want this job anymore.
So going back to your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
so she has the Gardasil, all 3. She's not well, in pain. And then you go holistic. She has 2 children. Then what happened?
I'll tell you what, her body couldn't take it anymore. There were so many drugs in her body. And I told you she was seeking remedies, so this isn't... Gardasil changed her life and made her seek remedies she would not normally have sought had she not been in so much pain. Okay? And she did go with street drugs. And that was a big part of what killed her. But also, when I was going out on teaching people what is really in our founding documents and how we are supposed to live, which you don't probably want to go into here because it'll get really political, and I'm not trying to get political. Although we, the people, own everything, and until we learn to stand up and say you're not going to do this stuff, like you said up on stage earlier, we're not going to let it happen anymore.
No.
It's just not going to happen anymore. We are not going to comply with your unfounded and heinous lies, because they are all of the vaccine studies. They do a placebo on a placebo is used as a control. A vaccine is used for control, and that's just total wrong. So, she had in her system, when they did the autopsy, she had the drugs that they used the first 2 years to combat the vaccine injuries, gabapentin, and there's just a whole slew of them. So she had 5 times the amount of fentanyl that it takes to kill somebody. So I'm thinking somebody might have given her a cocktail. I was building assemblies, okay, of people.
This is not the first time we've had this story. I've been on the road 6 days. We had another one. It was in so much pain following the COVID shot, and they found fentanyl, and they don't know why.
I was building assemblies of people very rapidly. I had 250 people in Missouri already on the assembly, and I was coming over here to work on Kansas.
Are we sure that the medications these kids are given are clean?
No, there's no guarantees
You
on
think
any
not
of
as
it.
well?
There's
No.
no guarantees.
I'm
on
not
any
talking
of
about
it.
street stuff. I'm talking about the pharmaceutical stuff. Why are they finding this fentanyl?
You know what? A drug is a drug.
Oh,
Is a
no.
drug. Is a drug. Is a drug.
So
I don't
why-
care if it's your whatever mother's little helper, your Valium or whatever it is you need, or your heart medicine, or your. I can't go and say that all of it is bad, because that might kill a lot of people too, and I certainly don't want that to happen. But I do want to warn everybody, even all of these medications they're putting you on the heart. I have a really good friend who's a type 1 diabetes, and he's been into the hospital several times this year. And every time he goes in, they put him on a synthetic insulin, and it's not, he's very holistic, and he's been dealing with this for 36 to 39 years. And not once, but almost 3 times, they almost killed him. I had to yank him out of there. He made me his DPOA because he likes the way that I've educated myself, and I'm very good with bureaucracy.
So what's your message to people? Because they're ramping up the Gardasil. The marketing is very intense. Right now, it's going to get worse.
The marketing is intense on all of it. It's
But
intense on the COVID vaccines. And
it is, but the HPVs, it's got a push right now. They're putting the the money. They're going for it.
My message to the people out there is don't fall for it, because that's exactly what happened to me. I fell for it. I thought, well, she's going to be one less, and she's not going to have to go through what I went through. But little did I know, I didn't even have to go through what I went through. And my message to you is look inside, because when you look inside, the answers come out and they change your outer world. And yes, I'm talking about the Heavenly Father, and looking into your heart and asking your heart, is this true? Because your heart will never lie to you.
You know what they say? Because we always talk about our gut feeling. We call it the God feeling. Trust your God feeling. You know that feeling where you think this doesn't feel right?
Yes.
That's God feeling.
That's God.
Well, listen, thank you for telling your story.
Thank you very much.
And for